What's up all, Brev Sullivan here. This is my second video with the Tonex and the brand new downloadable Brown sound pack from IK Multimedia. So my first video, I did some clips. I played along with guitar and vocalist Van Halen tracks, so you're hearing the authentic drums and bass. So that's why it sounded really authentic. But I think the IK Multimedia did the rest of it. They made their preset sound authentic. The word preset is kind of a misnomer in this case. You're actually getting tone samples. And that's exactly what I was using, was one of the 50, or I chose 10 of the 50 tone samples, and I put them into my Tonex editor, in my Tonex pedal, and they became presets because I was adjusting the delays, the reverb, and the phase shifter. That's it. So just so you guys know, to clarify, that when you purchase the Brown Sound Signature Pack, you're getting the 50 presets as seen on the screen here. We're doing a live video along with my screenshot. So you're going to be looking at my screen mostly. I have very little guitar playing. What we're going to do is actually build a preset using the Tonex editor software. So you see we have the 50 tone samples in here in your Brown Sound Signature collection. We're going to minimize the Tonex pedal software, and we're going to bring up my Tonex editor. So if I turn off, you hear the clip running with the devil at the beginning of the video. If I turn off reverb, if I turn off delay, this is the tone sample exactly as it came from the download. Okay, so somebody made a comment, did you put any post effects or anything like that? No, I didn't even put any compression or mastering software. I just wanted you guys to get the tone sample. So as you can see, we got the title, The Devil's Race. Obviously that's for running with the devil. Let's turn on some reverb. Nice. Let's turn on the delay. Now, why is the delay in front of the amp? That's because Eddie Van Halen used a Plexi amp, and back then that Plexi, at least from what I know, had no effects loop. So they had to take the tape delay or space echo and put it in front of the amp. It sounds awful, actually. Let's mess around with the settings. Right now my default setting is mix 5, feedback 20, time about 300. And there was 2 delays in his rig, I believe, one at 300 and one at 100 milliseconds. And that's what you're hearing, is that little short slap. So if you turn up the delay, you get this awful regeneration, very distorted. Cool if you want lo-fi psychedelic effects. Let's bring it back to the level I had it in the mix. This basically is just an aid of the people who want to create their own presets. And if you listen to my first video that I posted on Friday, this is exactly what I did. Okay, so let's keep going with this creating preset stuff. Let's take another preset. Let's just jump on Feeling Love. Okay, I had that saved with some reverb. We're gonna go a little further into the solo sound that Van Halen used a lot on the first record. Solos like Running with the Devil, Ice Cream Man. Nice, high-pitched, very warbly feel on the amp, and of course the guitar and the pickups. It was all part of it and playing. So right now it just sounds great playing to me. If we're gonna go into the Ice Cream Man lick. Okay, usually I rely on the sustain of the amp and the volume in the room to kind of carry my notes. I'm putting a little more effort in, I want to. So with that, we're going to kick on the modulation. This isn't a preset that I use for that lead sound. It's actually Feeling Loved. I used it for the rhythm for Feel Your Love Tonight. But we're going to quickly make it into a lead preset that I can be happy with. So we're going to reverb. I'm going to leave it about here. Plate is correct. Pre-delay, that's the trick. Pre-delay, for an engineer standpoint and for a guitar player who knows how to control their effects environment, is a very slick way of letting your dry attack be heard clearly, and then a nice smoky reverb, just like smoke, billow up from the ground and rise. That way it's not denying the attack and the organic in-your-face sound of your guitar. At the same time, depending on the music type of playing, it dates it a little bit. In the Van Halen world of early records, to me, the sound of Van Halen's records with the Van Halen brothers' backup vocals and Michael Anthony's backup vocals was like a Beach Boy with hard rock. Beach Boy California sound with hard rock. So that's that dated sound. Think about Van Halen records recorded in the 70s, and just the era before that, 60s and 50s, was the Motown. So they were still using those techniques. So you got to think of that approach when you're playing the sounds. It's not just let's put reverb on or use Eddie Van Halen's Echoplex settings, it's going to be there. No, this is about getting the tone, which I think is there with the IK Multimedia samples, and then tweaking your effects correctly to mimic that. So what I do is with my reverbs, I mix the reverb, overly mix it. It's way too much. Hear where I am in the mix, play back the track. Since you guys may not have those tracks right now, we're just going to do it old school, play the guitar till it's right. Okay, I'm down to a happy medium in the mix. Pre-delay is 250, time is 3. Color, I'm going to leave that in the middle. And then we're going to go over here to our delay in front of the amp. Remember, that's going to be a tape delay. Mix should be under 10, around 6 to 8, depending on what you're doing. It's in there, you just can't hear it, but it is in there. It's mixing and it's changing things. What is it changing? It's changing the way our ears perceive it. And modulation, we're going to put to pre, we're going to change that to phaser. This is not a phase 90 pedal, guys and girls, but it is adequate to get the phaser vibe going. So depth, I'm going to keep that light, rate light. I'm just using my ears for this. Let's turn it on. Let's sneak it in the mix a little more and try that Ice Command thing again. Remember, this is a very tricky solo. If the feedback and the sustain's not bouncing correctly, if you start overpicking, it never comes out correctly. Yeah, I hear that phaser jumping back at me. Now it makes it much more magical. And then those harmonics and everything, just the dive bomb right there. That phaser is nice and wrapped around that song. It's kind of like a wah-wah when you're coaxing those notes and speaking those bluesy tones. So right there, guys, is just a tone sample starting from scratch. One of the tone samples from the Brown Sound 78-79 collection. And then we've got it loaded into my Tonex. And anything that I played on the video that I uploaded on YouTube Friday was just me fooling around, tweaking the reverb, and I did it in a matter of hours. I really think this is a very intuitive software, and I really think if you know what you're doing as far as software and doing the classic retro 80s stuff and the Van Halen stuff. One thing that's going to help you guys is good desktop monitors when you're listening to these sounds. I'm listening to the sound at very low level, just like you're mixing a song. And that's how I recorded the video that I put out on Friday. So that's a very important aspect. And even though I'm doing videos for IK, I got to tell you, their products are just, these are my jams. I mean, the Tonex iLoud micro monitors are what's sitting in front of me right now. I'll put a picture up on the screen for you. And they've just been excellent as far as mixing, and that's combined with the X Monitor software. So that software allows you to listen to the monitors and perceive what your consumer is going to hear before you mix. It's going to let you kind of get an idea through software simulation. So yeah, looking at all the presets that I saved about 10, and each one of them has a little bit of subtlety that I change from song to song. Like for instance, Dance the Night Away. A nice little dreamy feel there, and very gentle phrasing and very careful phrasing in that song too, especially since the band's all singing four-way vocals. One more trick, if you're doing, say, Ain't Talking About Love, keep that delay in front of your amp and you'll get that ain't talk about love bounce, except you got to turn up the delay so it's like this. Probably go a little heavier on the phaser, and if I had a flanger, I'd put it in there too. Just fooling around here with my licks. Yeah, guys, so there's not really much else I can say about what you got to do is just use your ears, get in here and tweak these uh, Brown Sound Signature Collection. Once they're in your Tonex, tweak these to how you're going to use them with your effects. For me, I've tweaked the effects so they sound good in a mix and a presentation for you to listen to, this so they sound as close to the album. But keep in mind when you're using these in a live setting or a jam setting that you may need more delay. Like, let's pump up the delay reverb here. Anyway, I gotta pack it up, get ready for a long weekend of playing. I play in a tribute band, I play the 80s hair band scene, and I play in a Van Halen tribute band, Best of Both Worlds Florida. And I'm constantly being kept on my toes, keeping those 80s chops. So if you like the channel and you see what you see, subscribe, and let's keep this going with the Tonex pedal and see much else we could discover. Russ Sullivan saying thank you. Have an awesome weekend. See you soon.